You fools, hit them with your maces!
My lord, you have to get to the bridge and to the men at Tattered Point.
Shut up! You fools, get to the ladder, push! Strike them down, hit them with your maces!
Come away, my lord. You have to cross the bridge.
Surrender, Gladesdale!
Go to hell, Frenchman!
My lord, flee. Cross the bridge to the Tattered Point. You can rally the men.
Surrender! Surrender to the King of Heaven!
Ah, you haven't beat me yet, slut!
Go, my lord, I'll delay them.
Valiant soldiers!
I only yield to those that I know.
I am Lair, General of the Dauphin Southern Army.
The brave Lair? I yield. There is no dishonor.
Thank you, sir. Enough blood has been spilled today.
I'm afraid more blood is due to be spilled. My Lord Gladesdale has gone to the Tattered Point for another stand.
General, Mademoiselle, the English at Tattered Point have surrendered.
No. General Gladesdale would never surrender.
Gladesdale is dead. The bridge was destroyed by cannon. While he was crossing over it, he fell into the moat filled with fiery debris.
My God, what a terrible death! And Lord have mercy on his soul.
My God, Armand, we've won!
Hurrah! Hurrah!
I feel weak, my friends.
My God, her wound. It's worse than she made it appear.
Armand, go see if you can find a priest. Captain, do you have a physic here?
Yes, General. He should be tending the wounded.
Okay, lead me to him. Renard, you stay here with the maid. Captain, bring your men here. We may need a stretcher bearer.
Joan. Joan.
Renard, oh, it's so good to see you.
Joan. When you're going to get better, then I'm going to take you home to Lorraine.
Oh, Renard, I just dreamed I was back home. Oh, my friend, I hurt.
Nair has gone to get a physique. He can ease your pain. When you get well, we can quit this foolishness and I can take you home.
No, I cannot go back yet. God's work is not yet done.
Joan, don't you know? We've won. Orléans is ours. We freed it of English occupation. Your mission is done.
No! My work is over when the Dauphin is crowned king.
Joan, forget the Dauphin. Let's go back home while you're still in one piece.
I long to go home, Renard. I never knew work could be so ugly. I want to be like the other girls, but I can't. Not just yet. When the Dauphin is crowned, I shall go home, I promise.
Oh, Joan. Very well. Remember that I shall always be with you for that time.
Let us attend to you now, child, for you have performed God's task with valor greater than the meaning of valor.
No, I'm all right. Just let me lean on you. We have to lead a procession around the city walls and thank God for our victory.
Father, her wound has made her feverish. You must pray that it does not fester.
So must you, brave Lair.
I'm afraid a soldier's prayers do not count for much.
That is for God to decide. Now come now, friends. Let us take it to the quarters that I've secured. The physic is there.
Farewell for now, my dear. May God protect you, if I cannot.
And now that I am officially King Charles VII of France, I shall institute some changes to my realm.
Are you taking Laier's advice? Are you going to create a, what do you call it, a standing army for France?
I will. We'll eliminate the lawless companies that plague our land. Of course, I'll allow my commanders to recruit their own men. These 20 or so companies will be paid and provisioned by the crown, and naturally by taxation.
How many men would you have in this standing army?
Each company will be comprised of 100 lancers, 2 archers, a squire, a page, and a man-at-arms for each lancer. This will make a total of 600 men to a company. This will be about 12,000 soldiers strategically located throughout France.
Throughout France? Aren't you being a bit premature? Most of Normandy and even Paris is still held by the English.
But not forever. I'll be subsidizing my cannon makers so that I can take back my cities when the time comes.
What about the maid? Do you think she'll want to go back to Lorraine to her cows and pigs?
When I show her what I have for her reward, she will long for the bucolic bliss of home. Besides, I'm Jew. I can't let her destroy my army. I must command her to be at peace. The English weakened, and I hear that Bedford is losing his will to fight, and the English barons are quarreling amongst themselves. Now the negotiations are going well. Burgundy. I can't have her spoiling things for me.
What about Joan? What will you give her that could possibly keep her happy, cousin?
Ah, come with me, Anjou. I shall show you the prize that no one can resist, not even the purest of heart, especially the purest of heart.
Joan, my dear, I like you so much better dressed like that.
Thank you, sir. Oh, Leonard, I'm so happy.
And your voices?
They've gone. But my mission is not yet over, however.
I mean no disrespect, but I'm glad the voices have gone. Do you meet the king at this place?
Yes. He already knows my plans to mobilize the army. Now we'll just have to beg his leave to do so.
I don't believe he will approve. He's been conspiring with the Burgundians.
He will. He has to. He's been reorganizing the army, and he needs me more than ever. The people of France know that they can beat the English now. He must give his approval.
Joan, don't you ever yearn for home or perhaps some privacy?
Privacy. I never knew how dear privacy could be. After we've defeated the English, I will spend some time with my family, and then I'll wander. All alone. I'll go all over the hills and valleys of Lorraine. But I will miss Raymond and Armand and even Father Antoine. Of course, I will miss you the most of all, Renard.
No, you won't. I'm going with you.
Going with me? Why are you going with me?
You've barely taken off your armor and already you're playing girlish games. You know why I'm going with you.
Renard, you shouldn't.
I'll do everything properly. I'll speak to your father.
Renard, you really don't mean that.
Joan, when we first met, you told me that you hadn't been promised to anybody. Have you changed your mind about having a husband and children?
No, but you move too fast and assume too much. Renard, we have been comrades in arms. We are fond of each other, but marriage is different than battle. Besides, I can't think of personal happiness when the enemy still holds our land in thrall.
Joan.
Ah, Joan. The savior of France, it's so good to see you looking so radiant. Arise, both of you, arise.
Yes, my liege. God's mission has not been completed, however. You have worn your crown for over a week, and now I beg your leave to gather an army.
Of course, but you must be missing your home and your family. When you return to your quarters, I have a big surprise for you.
Please, sire, I realize I haven't seen my family in 6 months, but my work is not yet over.
Joan, I was hoping to surprise you. Very well. I have brought your family here to Reims. They're waiting for you in your quarters.
God bless you, sire. You're the most kind and generous sovereign.
That's not all, my dear. You came here as a maid from Lorraine. Now, as your sovereign, by the grace of God, I bid you to rise, Lady Joan. Joan of Arc. Rise, Lady Joan of Arc.
Your Majesty, I thank you with all my heart.
Joan, I know your father is a successful farmer. With this title, yours and your family's land will forever be tax-free. Furthermore, you and your family will also receive 500 liers per year. We will have a formal entitlement ceremony next week, if that's convenient for you.
Your Majesty, I'm at a loss to describe my gratitude for you.
We can discuss that later, perhaps. Now, Anjou, if you please. Joan, this is your family coat of arms. It's already been entered into the royal registry.
My liege, it's beautiful. The gold fleur-de-lis. That's the royal coat of arms.
Yes, my dear. You are like a sister to me, and I hope that pleases you as it honors me.
Your Majesty, I am overwhelmed with pleasure.
Good. Now, Joan, I know that you want to go to your quarters, visit with your people, and I hope that I have rewarded you sufficiently enough for the services that you have rendered.
My liege.
Your family can stay with you. If you wish, they can accompany you on every state occasion. No expense will be spared for your comfort.
Sarah, I have not received guidance since your coronation.
You mean you haven't heard the saints' voices?
That is correct, sire. Probably because my mission is not yet over. Sire, it's been 3 months since Orleans, and during that time we have taken Jardoux and Troyes, and we have even defeated the English on the field of Patay. The enemy is still here, however. Without your blessing, the armies will melt away. Surely my voices will return when we're in need.
Joan, Jesus loves you. Do you think that he would forsake you? I'm surprised that such a thought would cross your mind. You must be battle-weary.
No, my liege, I don't believe he would forsake me.
Let me ask you this, my dear, and please, don't be afraid to answer truthfully. Do you love France? Do you love me?
My liege, the blood that I have shed should prove my love for France and for you.
Forgive me for asking such a simple-minded question. I know that you have suffered greatly for me, but God has also protected you. Do not grieve so, my dear sister. As I said, you may take your family with you to comfort you whenever you may go, at the crown's expenses. Furthermore, I believe that with God's help, the fighting will end soon. A truce, with total withdrawal of the English, may be obtained in the very near future.
Yes, your Majesty.
Now, go to your quarters, enjoy your family, spend a week or two with them. Rest. Above all, rest.
Thank you, my liege.
Farewell for now, Lady Joan. Take joy in your family and your country.
Adieu, your Majesty.
So what are you going to do now, Joan?
I don't know.
Why don't you quit this game and return home?
Game? Game? That's all you think this is?
I'm sorry, but you gave me the impression that you're tired of all this whole business.
Perhaps I'm tired, but I have a duty. The most exhausted soldier must very often perform his duty even when his leader falters.
Especially if he or she has an armorial bearing. Can't you see how he used you and managed to discard you?
You hurt me with your doubts, Renard. You think you have hurt me before when we were at Blois, and you would think nothing of asking for the hand of someone you doubted. You see nothing but the dark, cynical side of life, and for that I pity you.
Forgive me, Joan. I was stupid to say that. I don't doubt you. I doubt the sincerity of the king.
I forgive you, Renard, but it is hard. I will pray for you and myself. Now I must go and meet my family. Farewell.
Wait, Joan. I'll walk with you, if you don't mind.
Why should I mind? You are free to go where you wish.
Despite yourself, Joan, you are a real woman, whether you like it or not.
Please, Renard, I have been overwhelmed by the honors I have been given, and my head aches to realize that I have no other choice but to disobey my king. If you wish to accompany me, please try to be pleasant.
Then you will continue to fight, even without the king's approval?
I will fight for my homeland, and yes, I will do my duty even when the king wavers. He will see that I am right, and God will not forsake us when we need him. If you are too tired to do your duty, you have my leave to quit. Now I must go.
Very well. No one can predict what will happen tomorrow. As the king has said, the fighting may end soon. A truce may be reached.
With God's help. Now I want to see my family. Are you coming?
I wager I can block your blows with only my blade.
Very well, and if you can have my ration. If you can't, I get yours.
Lay on me. See, Armand, I can block your blade with only my blows.
Yes, but your blade is slow from the strikes of mine. Now strike me!
Ah, but the wager was for me to block your blows. Therefore, I win.
Look, it's the maid. She's leaving the city with some troops.
Perhaps it's a raiding party going to capture some of the enemy's supplies.
She's not wearing her white armor. Why is that, Reynard?
You tell me why. She hardly knows me anymore. Since we've been here at Compiègne, she's surrounded herself with strangers for her personal guard. Her spare time is spent in conference with her commanders.
When was the last time you spoke to her?
About a month ago, when I repaired her armor. I didn't get to see her but for a few moments.
Reynard, why did she replace us as her personal guard?
I don't know. She seemed sad and haggard. She said something about how she wasn't under the divine protection any longer.
That's probably why she replaced us. She thought harm would come to us if we were with her.
Perhaps. She seemed almost aloof. She also said something about no longer being with us a year from now.
What did she mean by that?
God only knows. She hasn't been the same since Charles made her Lady Joan 11 months ago.
Attention, Commander Lair is coming.
Good morning, my good men. The maid has taken a party to intercept an enemy relief force. With a little luck, she will capture a supply wagon or two, and we will have something to eat by the end of the evening.
Well, Commander, unlike the English bowmen, we don't need full bellies to shoot down this reeking tube.
You are so right, my friend. This weapon is the future, and you men are probably the most important soldiers in this army.
Believe me, Commander, I would rather face down danger with the maid's troops than sit here waiting to mow down the next wave of enemy troops with rocks and nails.
I know. This smoky monstrosity will spend the end of chivalry.
Remember how we thought that the English longbow would be the end of chivalry? I believe that chivalry will overcome the cannon, just like it did the longbow.
I don't think so, Armand. The rocks and iron from this reeking hell can rip our armor to pieces before we can get close enough to cut down its attendants.
My Commander, when this war is over, if I'm still alive, I will make you armor that will withstand the wretched fire from these cannons, and all hand cannons also.
Renard, it will become a race between the smith who can make guns for the missiles and the armorer who can make harnesses to resist those missiles.
Ah, but I know the secret of Toledo blades. I can adapt those secrets to make armor.
I sincerely wish you success, my friend. I am afraid, however, that war will belong to the soldier who can man the hand cannon and the big guns like this one. Old commanders like myself will be trod down by the stampede of chargers trying to escape the hell of invisible iron hail.
Commander, the chivalry you possess, the fairness towards your troops, and the honor you've shown in battle will never be overcome by this metal tube. Even the English call you the brave Vailleur.
Thank you, soldier. What I've spoken of will most likely not come to pass in our lifetime or even the lifetime of our children. But it will come to pass, and that's why, with the years remaining to me, I will take you up on your offer to make that Toledo-like armor.
How long have you been campaigning, Commander?
It's been 20, 25 years now. When one is destined by birth for a warrior's profession, it does no good to count the years.
Destined by birth?
Yes, I was a younger son, and my father wasn't particularly wealthy. He didn't have enough land to parcel up amongst his heirs. I was given over to Duke Alicon's father as a squire when I was 14. When the old Duke died, I hired out to many lords of the realm, and I've seen many changes in my years of fighting the English.
Tell us about them, Commander.
Well, I can remember when we mainly used catapults, ballistas, mangonels, and, various other machinery to pound at city ramifications. There were cannon, but these mostly blew apart after a shot or two were fired. But now, in less than a year, since our king's coronation, I've seen the walls of Lyon, Soissons, Beauvoir, and numerous other cities fall beneath the belch of that great middle bastard. And that is why I say the cannon will be the end of chivalry.
Commander, the maid has been captured.
What was that? What did you say?
Commander, the maid's troops were surprised by the enemy. Those that have returned say that the maid and her brother have been captured by the Burgundians.
Joan? Captured?
My God, the maid has fallen into the hands of the Burgundians.
So, cousin, Pierre Cochon's pit of English-loving vipers have condemned the maid of heresy, blasphemy, and what have you. Now what?
Now we wait. All the English want is to find her guilty.
Sire, you say that all the English want is her guilt? Surely you know they want to burn her.
Not necessarily, Anjou. She stood firm to her innocence so far. But if she recants, they will not burn her.
I've never heard of any witch escaping the fire just because she's recanted, Your Majesty.
Joan is not a witch to the English. They believe that they can use her to discredit me. If she recants, the English think that I'll be disgraced. Everyone has heard how her judges have deemed my coronation as a work of hell because she has supposedly invoked evil spirits to make my kingship possible. Her admission of guilt will be enough for them. They know that Joan has become a powerful symbol of France. Once the symbol is tarnished, they believe that France will gradually turn away from me. With my country in a demoralized state, the English think that they will win back the territory that I've regained.
Sire, that would be just as good a reason as any for them to burn her.
They know Joan isn't weak. She won't recant easily. So they'll offer her life in a church prison as a reward for her admission of guilt. Incidentally, my informant on this matter is quite reliable.
Would she accept that? Do you really believe that she would disavow her claims of divine guidance and even betray her king and country for life in a church prison?
Above all, Anjou, Joan is a clever girl. She's a brave girl also. But just how brave can a person be when faced with such a helpless, horrible, painful death? Besides, she has character of a nun. She will probably enjoy a church prison, spending all of her time in prayer with the sisters. She will recant.
If she does recant, as you believe she will, do you think the English will keep their part of the bargain and send her to a church prison?
I believe they will keep her alive. Instead of a church prison, the English would possibly put her in a secular prison in the hopes of obtaining a ransom. Of course, I'll be informed if such a situation develops.
If such a situation develops, would you pay the ransom, sir?
That's a tough question, Anjou. Her admission of guilt could do me great harm. My disgrace could not only be easily overcome. I could pay her ransom, reinstate her, and send heralds to every town in France denying the court's charges and her admission of witchcraft, heresy, and, as you say, what have you?
Do you have any idea of the amount that such a ransom would incur?
No, that's the crux of the matter. A hypothetical ransom may be too expensive for us to implement any plans of convincing France not to give credence to Joan's accusers. There's another factor to weigh. We may not need Joan anymore. We've learned how to fight the English. I've procured more cannon, which seems of great value in siege warfare. As I said, the price of the ransom, if any, would be the crux of the matter.
Your Majesty, have you considered the possibility of what could happen if Joan doesn't recant? Would they still burn her?
I doubt it very seriously. If they burn her without the admission of guilt, then they burn a martyr. They know that. They could never be such fools to realize what a dear symbol she is to the people of France. Burn her in her innocence, and the English gamble with losing everything they've gained.
She may realize that also. Can you be so sure that she'll recant?
Of course, as my trusted friend Anjou, I tell you this. If I were faced with such a hideous, helpless, painful death, a death that keeps you from fighting back and taking a few of your enemies with you, then I would deny Jesus myself, as St. Peter did. Hush now, I have an appointment with that pest Lier in private.
Sire.
Ah, my commander. Here. How may I help you?
My liege, I've come to talk to you about the maid. I've heard that they've condemned her to death and that she is to be executed within the week.
Commander, I assure you that the negotiations are proceeding at this very moment for the purpose of obtaining her release.
Forgive me, sire, but that's what you said a month ago, and the month before that.
The heir. I am king. The king answers to no one but God. You've been my finest and most loyal commander. However, I feel that I truly owe you an explanation of the events that have taken place during this year in which the maid has been in captivity. Arise, my friend.
Majesty, you have my most sincere gratitude.
Thank you, Lear. When Joan was first captured by the Burgundians, I tried in vain to negotiate a ransom for her, but they wouldn't talk to me, because the English wanted her so badly that they're willing to pay a huge sum of money to them for her. Let me tell you, Commander, I was prepared to let them have Compiègne and Beauvois, along with sums matching what the English were paying for her, but they wouldn't deal with me.
My apologies, sire. I did not know.
I realize that. And to continue, when Joan was sold to the English last November, I tried to deal with them. The negotiations have been ongoing ever since. Have I not told you that the negotiations have been pending each time you have come here? So now, we've finally come to an arrangement. I've agreed to let the English tell Joan that I command her to recant.
Sire?
Hold. I know this is what the English want. They think they can discredit me and the maid by her admission of guilt. It won't work, however. After they put her into a church prison, I shall pay the ransom that they want. They will have no further use for her because they will believe she will be of no further use to France. They'll be wrong. When she's free, we shall tell France the true story. My heralds will tell how I commanded her to recant. That we tricked the English. Now, Lear, who do you think France will believe? Joan or her accusers?
They'll believe her. Does Joan know why you commanded her to recant? She may think the English are trying to deceive her.
I am not without my eyes, my ears, and my voice in the enemy's palace. At this time, she already knows of my plan.
You would risk being discredited to save the maid?
Don't be astonished, Commander. I would risk my